All right, everybody, get ready because we're diving headfirst into something I think you're really going to dig. Building muscle. And hold on, I know what you're thinking, but this isn't just about getting ripped. This is about unlocking your body's full potential inside and out. You guys sent in some really cool stuff, and I am ready to unearth those hidden
Well,
gems.
I am right there with you. We've got this article here. It's called The Ultimate Guide to Building Muscle Mass from Everyone Active. And let me tell you, it goes way beyond the usual stuff. We're going to uncover those surprising benefits that most people don't even know are connected to building muscle.
For real, I get that muscle is, important and all, but this article is saying it affects everything,
Yeah.
from how strong you are to how your body uses energy. They even break it down into different types of muscle, so it's not just about looking buff, right?
It's like, you know how everyone's always trying to get the latest phone? Well, this is like giving your body the biological upgrade: stronger bones, faster metabolism, even a sharper mind.
Okay, now that's an upgrade I can get behind. And speaking of upgrades, the article talks about how building muscle supercharges your bones, especially as we get older. I always feared that was just for athletes, but they make it clear it's essential for everybody.
It's true. It's like giving your bones a workout, too, without even having to do a bone-specific exercise. That stress tells them to stay strong, which is huge for avoiding things like osteoporosis down the road.
So it's like a two-for-one deal. Build muscle, stronger bones.
Yeah.
Okay, but this next one kind of blew my mind. The article says muscle affects how our bodies deal with sugar. They use the term insulin sensitivity, and I got to be honest, that sounds kind of complicated.
It sounds more complicated than it is. Just think of insulin like a delivery truck, yeah. It carries sugar from your blood to your cells for energy. More muscle means your body's got way more efficient loading docks, so to speak, so the sugar gets delivered fast and doesn't clog up your bloodstream.
Gotcha. So more muscle means fewer sugar crashes, any more energy throughout the day.
Huh.
Where do I sign up?
Exactly. And that's especially important, if there's any history of diabetes in your family or if you just want to feel your absolute best. The article drives home that muscle mass isn't about looks. It's about building a healthier system from the inside out.
Love these unexpected benefits. But the article also gets into the nitty-gritty, like which exercises are the muscle building champs. They've got a killer list. It's like a greatest hits compilation for building muscle.
Totally agree. They start with the all-time classics and for good reason. Deadlifts and squats, those are like the power couple. They work a bunch of muscles all at the same time, which makes them super effective for building strength all over.
They also talk about bench presses and overhead presses. Those are staples in any gym, and with good reason, right? I mean, come on, who doesn't want to feel like they can lift a car?
Haha, so true. Those are basically the bedrock of any good strength training plan. That bench press, especially amazing for a strong upper body. You're working your chest, shoulders, triceps, the whole 9 yards.
Well, love it. But they don't forget about us folks without a gym membership either. They highlight body weight exercises too, stuff like pull-ups and chin-ups. Proof you don't need fancy equipment to build serious strength.
Absolutely. And you hit the nail on the head. Those are fantastic for upper body strength. No weights needed. You're working your back, arms, shoulders. It's all about being creative and finding what works for you.
Love that they emphasize a well-rounded approach. Mix up those heavy lifts with some body weight work, hit all the muscle groups, and bam, watch your body transform.
That's what it's all about. And they're really big on consistency and gradual progress. You don't got to go from zero to hero overnight, right? It's all about challenging yourself over time, adding weight or resistance as you get stronger. We call that progressive overload. It's like leveling up in a video game.
So it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Hmm.
Speaking of fuel, the article talks about macronutrients, carbs, protein, fats, and they're adamant that these aren't the bad guys. Each one's crucial for building muscle.
Couldn't agree more. Think of carbs like your energy source, the fuel that powers your workouts. And protein, well, that's the building block of muscle. It helps repair and rebuild those tiny tears you get from working out.
And then we've got fats. They've gotten a bad rap for so long, but the article's saying healthy fats are essential for things like hormone production. And that includes testosterone, which is super important for muscle growth.
Balance is key. The article really stresses this whole meal planning thing to make sure you're getting enough of everything, not just for building muscle, but for overall health and energy too.
Like giving your body the right ingredients at the right time to create that muscle-bound masterpiece. Speaking of ingredients, the article mentions supplements too, specifically protein powder and creatine. What's the deal with those?
It's important to remember supplements are just that. Supplements. They're not some magical quick fix. Shouldn't be replacing real food. The article positions them more as extra tools you can use helpful, yeah, but not essential.
So protein powder can help if you're struggling to hit your protein goals just from food, especially if you're super active. And creatine, that can give you a boost during workouts, but neither of them are magic potions for muscle growth.
Exactly. Do your research, figure out what your body needs, maybe chat with a doctor or a registered dietitian before you start adding supplements.
Work smarter, not just harder, right?
Mhm.
And speaking of working smarter, the article talks about something that's easy to forget in our always on the go world: rest.
Rest. It seems kind of weird, right? Like, aren't we supposed to be pushing ourselves all the time? But this article makes a really compelling case for rest and recovery. Says they're just as important as the workouts themselves if you want to build muscle.
Okay, you've got my attention.
Yeah.
Tell me more about this whole rest is the secret weapon thing.
Okay, so picture your muscles as a construction site, all right?
Yep.
Your workouts are the demolition crew, tearing things down to make way for the new, and rest. That's when the construction workers come in and rebuild stronger than before.
Whoa, so skipping rest is like sabotaging our games.
You got it. When you rest, your body gets to work repairing those tiny muscle tears, making them stronger and bigger in the process. That's literally muscle growth 101.
That makes a lot of sense.
Oh.
So are we talking vegging out, doing absolutely nothing, or is there more of a strategy to these rest days?
This is where something called active recovery comes in. The article suggests having at least 1 or 2 rest days a week, but that doesn't mean you're glued to the couch.
Okay, so what does active recovery actually look like then?
Think like a chill walk, some light stretching, maybe a little yoga or swimming, that kind of thing. It helps get your blood flowing, eases muscle soreness, and promotes recovery, all without pushing your muscles too hard. It's about finding that sweet spot, challenging yourself, but letting your body recover.
Finding that balance, right?
Oh.
Pushing yourself, but also giving your body the time it needs to rebuild and come back stronger.
Exactly. Working with your body, not against it. And that kind of brings us to something else the article talks about for building muscle. Mindset.
Mindset. See, now, that's not the first thing that pops into my head when I think about hitting the weights. But I'm getting the feeling it's way more important than, we give it credit for.
Oh, absolutely. You could have the perfect workout plan, eat all the right foods, but if your mind's not right, your results are going to suffer. The article's big on this, setting realistic goals, staying motivated, pushing through those inevitable roadblocks.
Oh, tell me about it. It is so easy to get discouraged, especially when you're just starting out and those results don't happen overnight.
It's like imagine planting a garden. You wouldn't dig up the seeds every day to see if they're growing, right? You got to trust the process, water them consistently, and eventually you get your reward. Building muscles the same way.
So patience, patience, patience.
Uh,
Got to trust the process and celebrate those little victories along the way.
exactly. Don't get hung up on the number on the scale or how you measure up to someone else. Focus on how much stronger you're getting, how much better you feel those non-scale victories, like, climbing stairs without getting winded.
That is such a good point. It is so easy to fall into that trap of comparing ourselves to others, especially with social media, always shoving those perfect bodies in our faces.
Social media, man. Double-edged sword, right? Can be great for inspiration, but you gotta remember those pictures don't always show the whole story. Everybody's got their own starting line, their own genetics, their own version of success.
So, key takeaway. Focus on our journey, celebrate our progress, don't get bogged down by comparing ourselves or having those crazy expectations. How can we actually apply this, to our own fitness journeys?
Start with those goals, man. Make them realistic. Make them achievable. Don't try to change everything overnight. Small steps, sustainable changes like adding a bit more protein to your meals or squeezing in 1 more workout a week.
Start small, stay consistent, trust the process. It's funny we're talking about building muscle, but it sounds like we're also building mental strength and resilience at the same time.
100%. Think about it. Every time you push past your comfort zone in the gym, every time you choose that healthy meal instead of the junk food, you're building mental toughness. And that spills over into everything else you do.
I love that. So we're not just changing how we look, we're changing how we think and how we feel.
Yeah.
That's powerful stuff.
No doubt about it. All right, so switching gears a little bit, the article spends some time on a topic that always gets people talking: supplements. Specifically, protein powder and creatine.
Yeah. Those are like the rock stars of the supplement world. What's the article's take?
Just like we were saying earlier about everything else, supplements should really just supplement a healthy diet and lifestyle. They're not going to magically give you ripped muscles, but they can be handy tools depending on what you need and what your goals are.
So it's kind of like that bonus level in a video game, right? It can boost your experience, maybe help you level up faster, but you don't need it to play the game.
I like that. And when it comes to protein powder, yeah, it can definitely help if you're struggling to get enough protein from food, especially if you're really active. Creatine, on the other hand, studies show it can improve strength and power during your workouts, which over time helps those muscles grow.
But the main thing is, don't just blindly follow the hype. Do your research, figure out what your body needs, and maybe have a chat with a doctor or a registered dietitian to see if supplements are right for you.
Exactly. The foundation is always going to be a solid diet and consistently working out. Supplements are like the sprinkles on top, not the cake itself.
So we've covered a lot: exercise, food, rest, mindset, even supplements. Feels like we've hit all the bases. Anything else in the article that we haven't talked about yet?
One last piece of the puzzle, and it's a big one, even though people often forget about it. Consistency.
Consistency. Seems pretty straightforward. Just got to stick with it, right?
You'd think so. But life gets in the way, motivation comes and goes, it's easy to fall off the wagon. But the article's really hammering this point home. Consistency is everything if you want to see real, lasting results. It's about showing up for yourself even when you'd rather stay in bed.
So how do we do that? How do we actually stay consistent? Any tips from the article?
They talk about finding a workout routine that you actually enjoy, setting realistic goals, and surrounding yourself with a good support system. Having a workout buddy or just people in your corner cheering you on, that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, you know what they say, accountability is key.
Yeah.
Having those people to cheer you on and keep you going, man, that could make or break it.
You know it. And don't forget to celebrate those wins along the way. Big or small, doesn't matter. Did you add a little more weight this week? Nailed a new exercise? Or even just, got yourself to the gym when you really didn't feel like it? Those are all wins, man. Celebrate them.
You're right. Got to recognize those little steps because those are what turn into big results down the line.
No doubt. And speaking of big results, this whole deep dive, man, it's really opened my eyes to just how much power we have over our own bodies. It's not just about how we look. It's about being the strongest, healthiest, most capable versions of ourselves.
Couldn't agree more. We're like uncovering this blueprint for a better, stronger self. And it's not just our muscles getting stronger, right?
Exactly. It's like, we've got the blueprint, now it's time to build. So tell me, what's one thing you're fired up to use in your own life from all this?
Ooh, good question. I think for me, it's got to be that mindset shift. I'm done with comparing myself to everyone else. From now on, it's all about our why progress, celebrating my why wins, and just embracing the journey, even when it gets tough.
Love it. You're taking control of your own fitness journey and focusing on what actually matters. Progress, not perfection. And remember what we said earlier, marathon, not a sprint. There'll be bumps along the way, that's for sure. But those challenges, those are what make it all worthwhile.
Truth. And that applies to like everything in life, right? Not just fitness. It's about taking on those challenges, pushing our limits, seeing what we can really do.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And hey, one last thing. You don't have to go it alone. Find your people, find your support system, learn from the pros, and celebrate each other's wins.
That's right. To all our listeners out there, it's time to take that first step. It doesn't matter how small it is. Maybe you try a new exercise. Maybe you finally prioritize rest. Maybe you just start thinking about progress instead of perfection. Whatever it is, remember every step forward, that's a victory.
You got this. Be patient, be kind to yourself, and never, ever underestimate what you're capable of.
And that's a wrap on another deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep unlocking your full potential.